what is driving activity at the Tanzania Securities?
For last week, we saw an aggressive market in terms of activities and turnover, and this was mainly on the backdrop of foreign investors that came to support CRDB counter, where we saw a major activity on that counter, and that was through a prearranged transaction.
Yes, we're seeing a lot of foreign investor participation. How come?
It's mainly because of the attractiveness on the counters, some counters, especially on the banking segment, but also on industry and allied. On the banking segment, most of the counters, we have a feeling that they are undervalued, in terms of if you compare it to their peers in the region, but also on their own PB ratios. And for example, CRDB, which we saw some activities last week, it's now trading at trailing 6.5 PE ratio, and that's on the lower side if you compare to their peers, to its peers in the region. And so that's why you see foreign attractiveness in the markets here, mainly to take advantage of the undervalued stocks and counters.
Are a lot of these undervalued stocks and counters in the banking sector, because it seems to be the darling of investors right now, controlling well over 90% of activity?
Come again, Larry, I didn't hear you there.
Are all of these undervalued stocks, or most of them, are they in the banking sector? Because I'm seeing a lot of activity on that side.
Yes, mainly on the banking sector, and there's a reason to that as well. For these other counters, especially in the industry and the allied, because of our foreign investors' limit, that limit for foreign investors in most of the counters in the industry and the allied is already reached the 60% threshold. And therefore, the room for foreign investors to participate is mainly on the banking segment. And that's where you see foreigners coming to support these counters, because there's a room for them to come in.
Very quickly, Moremi, tell me about Tanzania Breweries, because we're seeing the share closed lower, but we're expecting results out of that counter. What are you expecting to see?
We expected to see some support on that counter, specifically on the industry and allied, because though it has reached its maximum threshold in terms of foreign participation, but East Africans are allowed to participate in that counter. And this week we anticipate to see again hunters, especially because TBL is about to announce their first half announcement results end of month, and therefore we anticipate good performance from that counter, good fundamental performance on that counter, but also investor support that will see the price on the higher side compared to how it closed last week.